have to build in these moments, in these times where you stop and you can just hang out for a second and you can breathe.
Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Slow Growth Podcast. It's sponsored by Train Retail, the team at Train Retail that has management and sales training available both on video, subscription services, but also one-on-one. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that later because we've got something new and exciting here. But it's me, myself, Jimmy DeGroot, and Kyle Bullock.
Hey, everybody.
I wish you could see him. He just looks fabulous there in his studio. But hey, we want to kind of hit the ground running today with talking about how to maximize enjoyment of the next few weeks here that are going to be pretty chaotic and hectic and fun. So, Kyle, you have a jewelry store in New Mexico. About how much percentage of your business do you folks do in December?
Okay, that's a great question. I would traditionally say, and this is true of most independent jewelry stores that I have worked with, you've worked with, I think you could subscribe 20% of your revenue comes in the month of December.
And the young lady that we were speaking with yesterday in our fun little consulting session said you get also 20% of your anxiety and frustration.
80%,
right?
Yeah, or something like
80%.
80% from this small little burst of time.
Well, let's chat about that. Let's chat about how to have kind of as much peace as possible, but enjoyment. You told the story a while back about the holiday that just was the holiday from heck. Yeah. You fretted and worried about this big major purchase and you didn't even enjoy Christmas.
No. And you know what? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. About yesterday and even today, I spend the mornings, I go into the office for a couple of hours to make sure things in the jewelry store are working well. And then I come over to my recording studio and my consulting offices. I have found myself the last couple of days going into the jewelry store and just pacing back and forth and finding myself getting tied up in busy work for no reason other than I feel like this acute stress. And it's the feeling that I think farmers feel when they have planted their crops and they're waiting for rain to come.
Yeah.
They sort of wring their hands and they go, I've done everything that I possibly could to prepare for this harvest. But I have to stand here and wait for the rain, and that's out of my control.
Yeah.
And I feel it kind of every year I have for my entire career. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going even into this conversation about enjoying Christmas and leveraging success for Christmas, feeling that myself, you know?
Right. Folks, we're talking to everybody here. We're not talking to just jewelers, okay? We come from the jewelry business. We have clients and we work with people that are in other forms of retail and other businesses, frankly, service business. One of the things that I always had to do is I always looked at whatever my points of frustration were. And I looked at those points as teaching points. Those were teaching areas for me. So if I was really frustrated about, for example, that the schedule was messed up, or if I was scheduled that I didn't have enough people on the sales floor, or maybe I was under inventoried in some hot sellers that, gosh darn it, now I got to wait 3 days for this to come in from New York, and it just frustrating. And so I used every one of those as teaching points. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to make this so that I can do what I want to do the most, and that is, at the holiday times, it was shake hands and kiss babies, right? Be out on the sales floor, supporting my team, being out there with them, having fun with them, going through whatever with them, supporting them. If I would say my biggest piece of advice is try to get all of those check boxes covered as soon as possible so that you can maximize really what you do best. And frankly, what you do best may be sitting in the back room going over the numbers, right? And the sales floor stuff, it might be what frustrates you. Figure out whatever your pain points are, use those as teaching tools to figure out how to solve those pain points. I love what you always say, write a recipe for it. If you write a recipe for it and empower somebody else to take care of that recipe, to bake that recipe, why then you've done a very smart thing. You've scaled your business now. It's not all relying on you.
Yeah. We come up at a time in the next few weeks when there's a number of holidays, people are celebrating. With that, there's always the stress of being busy, and work begins to feel busy. And there's also the stress that if it's not busy enough, then I'm not doing it. I'm not doing something enough. Mm-hmm. If the numbers aren't coming in the way that I thought they should today, then the failure was on me because I didn't do something.
Yeah.
I didn't do the magic dance before I opened the doors. I didn't market the way that I should have. We start playing that game of, well, I didn't do this and do that. And
I didn't hype my team up enough in the morning.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And it just dials down to our self-worth. We start telling ourselves that we are failing because it's something to do with our worth. If I can speak to those who feel that, and to myself oftentimes, there is this point at which you have to stop and tell yourself, I am not a machine that is meant to just constantly run myself haggard and dry. I'm not meant for that. I'm a human who's meant to enjoy what's put in front of me. And so my advice, and it's one that I'm frankly going to have to take right now, is remember what the holidays are. They're holidays. And what do we do at holidays? We celebrate and we remember things. Every holiday is an invitation to celebrate and remember things. And so if you don't take time to do that, and if you're just going from one chaotic mess in your business to another because you're just trying to keep yourself busy, you're going to miss the point of a holiday, which is to remember and to celebrate.
Yeah.
So you have to physically stop yourself at a certain point. We have a client who their goal for November was that on November 15th, I want to stop planning stuff. That was their goal. So that from November 15th to December 25th, they can just be present in the business, and then they lock their doors, they go home, and they celebrate with family. Mm-hmm. And I thought that is an amazing goal to have, because they want to just celebrate the season. And sometimes in this idea, we talk about slow growth being slow, steady, consistent, about chasing after the values and priorities that are important to you. You have to set up some boundaries for yourself to remind yourself what really is important to chase.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just feel like a machine that you're supposed to be running haggard and dry all the time. And that's just not who we are.
You had brought up something fantastic in a training that you did in the sales training course. No, in the management training course recently. And that was make some white space. It can be seen as a privileged area, or boy, how do you do that? How do I get some white space on my calendar? And you referred to it as white space in terms of space where you don't schedule anything, but you go out and you feed into your staff, you support your staff, you're out there complimenting.
The white space comes from the idea that your calendar space is white because you put nothing there.
Right.
Just to be present.
I love that. And that kind of ties into my original idea of get everything done so that you can go do that or go do what you love to do the most.
The theme of this show is slow growth. And the idea is you grow your business consistently, slow and steady over time, that those little wins add up to big ones in the end, right? Instead of trying to just make huge wins every month and accelerate your business.
Right.
We're doing it consistently. And the holidays are a great time to remember that the work of developing your business comes in the planning and the prep phase. If you're planning for Christmas in December, then September and October is when you plan for what's going to happen in December. And what's going to happen in February and March is going to be planned in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Among that systematic, consistent growth, you have to build in these moments, in these times where you stop and you can just hang out for a second. and you can breathe. One man I know, he used to call this setting up base camp. You just set up a base camp. If you're going to climb Mount Everest, you don't sprint up the mountain. That's that seismic growth we're not doing. It's a slow and steady climb, but every once in a while you have to stop and climatize yourself. You have to acclimate yourself to the pressures that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there feels like this ton of pressure that happens at the holidays, especially for business owners, because of all the amount of stress and time and movement. If you can do what Jimmy said about creating that white space, it's like you're setting up a base camp, and it's intentional to say, I just need one day with my team to not throttle to the next thing. I'm just going to stop the day, and we're just going to enjoy it. And in between customers, there's not going to be any work planned. We're not going to check in the new inventory yet. We're not going to do the development stuff. I'm going to buy a pizza. We're going to sit around. We're going to tell stories. And then when I get home, I'm going to have hot cocoa and watch a Christmas movie on Hallmark.
It's a wonderful life.
There you go. You have to have that every week, because if you don't, it's like you're trying to climb up Mount Everest without a base camp. You're going to get sick and pass out.
I was recently watching a documentary on Mount Everest, and they said that more accidents happen on the way down than on the way up, because on the way up, you're exhausted, and you force yourself to rest. You force yourself to get into stasis. And people often rush on the way down, and you got to do the same thing, because otherwise your brain's going to get foggy. You're going to get that disease, that altitude disease, and you're going to make mistakes. To this point, I know that, folks, I get it. Retail is chaos. If you can employ any of these ideas, you're going to be much happier. And the idea of you being out on the sales floor, and what you're doing there is you're modeling the way you probably started the business, which is out there selling to everybody. You know what I mean? Out there saying hi to everybody. All these people that are coming in for the holidays, you can see them and hug them and enjoy their time. But the other thing too is there is the possibility of lost opportunity, in that if you are focused on getting yourself healthy because you ran down the mountain too fast or running around too fast and have to go into some type of triage, you may miss those opportunities of those relationships and those things that you could have said or been there for, that frankly could turn into amazing, incredible sales. So, there's a lot potential lost opportunity there if you have to go into the ER. It's the hypothetical ER, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell a story on myself to maybe drive this home. It's a moment where I goofed up even today. I'm convicted, as you're talking about, on that climatizing yourself on the way down, calming down a little bit. This morning, I'm there for a couple hours, and I'm on the sales floor, and I'm helping out just a little bit because the steady flow of Christmas traffic is coming in, which I should be excited about, because remember yesterday I was pacing back and forth going, oh my gosh, what was going to happen? Well, then they all came in.
It goes both ways, doesn't it?
It does. Yesterday I wanted them to come in the door. Today they did. And I'm stressed because I'm running around. And I was stressed because I'm not on the sales floor all the time, and I'm trying to help this person, that person, and all that going on. And I'm frustrated. And I found myself frustrated that one of my sales associates was not helping with the flow of traffic because they were stuck talking to somebody who I knew they weren't making a sale with. They were just talking to this customer.
Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere.
My brain was going, oh, they're not buying anything right now. And oh my gosh, what a waste of time. They need to help me with this, that, and the other. And then as you're speaking, I'm going, wait a second. They took a second and I'm remembering what they were talking about, and they were enjoying the season. They were talking about this person's family. They were talking about the importance of this holiday season. And then this customer left with such warm feelings with my sales associate, smiling from ear to ear because they needed it at a holiday that may or may not be easy for them.
Right.
And my sales associate was willing to take a few minutes to be present. Yeah. And I'm so busy trying to just make the next win that I miss what was more important. That was a
Wait a minute,
customer.
boss, I'm doing what you told me to do.
Exactly. They left with a customer for life. And I'm going, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I need to
Yeah.
get out of the store. I need to walk around the block,
Go,
reprioritize,
go talk to Jimmy.
go talk to Jimmy. So if you're listening, look, some advice from my poor example this morning. Start with a walk around the block, get out of your store for a minute, breathe, hang a sign up, say, I'll be back in 10. Just give yourself that base camp moment. Give your team that space and time. And once a week, devote time in that white space day where all you're going to do is celebrate the holiday in front of you with your people. And that's it. Just enjoy the moment. Go home and watch a beautiful movie, right?
Yeah, and like you said something very important there, and you said holidays may be difficult for some people. They may be joyful for some people, and I know they can be very difficult at times, especially if a loved one is lost during that time. Even if you don't per se get into the holidays during that walk, just think of 5 things you're grateful for. I'm grateful that I have a business that people actually pull the door open and want to come in. I'm grateful that I've got these wonderful employees where they do the hard work, and I'm grateful. Whatever it is, you fill in the blank there. So again, if it's not holiday spirit, you can get into the a spirit which is going to be very conducive to the holidays. So we've got a ton more. I just wrote down a bunch more, but I know we got to cut it off. So let's cover those next time.
Sounds good. Happy holidays,
Oh, hey,
everybody.
wait, before we go, let's talk just real quickly about something real exciting that you and I are daring to do with new potential customers. Here's our pitch, you guys. Here's our ad. Okay. If you are in a spot in your business where maybe you've hit a glass ceiling, maybe that glass ceiling is your potential, maybe it's your wits, maybe it's your cash flow, whatever it is, whatever that thing that you've hit and just can't seem to get past it is, give us a call and it won't cost you anything until, and Kyle, take it from here.
We don't get paid until you guys profit.
Grow. Yeah. Yep.
Look, Jimmy and I love, love, love working with independent retail companies and helping them grow their companies in profit and also in the freedom. Our favorite thing that we hear from our clients is when they come back and they say, we have our lives back again. And yeah, my business is thriving. And I also have time to enjoy the things that are most important in my life. That is the greatest addiction we have, is chasing after the ability to help people get there. And we just want to do that with as many hungry leaders as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And so
Big or small, big or small.
big or small. So look, if you're listening to this, here's our caveat. Okay. If you want to grow your profits by we're talking 50% or more in the next few years, you don't want to work more than 35, at most 40 hours a week. And you're willing to spend 1 hour per week working with us or on your business to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we want to visit with you on one-on-one coaching on a program that we have developed, and we will let you know all about it up front. It just takes a call, and we're not going to ask you to give us any coaching fees or pay us anything until we really show you the value that it brings to you, until it starts to pay you.
Yep.
We don't believe we should get paid until you first get paid. That's how much we're willing to believe in this system.
Absolutely. Yep.
So if that's you, you can reach out to us, Jimmy@trainretail.com, Kyle@trainretail.com, or you can visit trainretailmanagement.com and check out our individual coaching and learn about how we believe in this, how it works. We lay it out for you. We hold no secrets back. And we believe this system that we're putting together is here to help change lives. And we want to help grow your company and grow your life in the process.
Yep. Yep. Give it a try. We hope that your pain level is high enough and that's not just a little convenient little thing you really want to change, because that's the most exciting time. That's the time where you're willing to do whatever it takes. And it's not going to be that hard. We give you a little homework. We spend an hour with you, and we almost require that you don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. It's a pretty good deal. Anyway, hey, reach out to us. We got to get running. Thanks for joining us, guys, on the Slow Growth Business Podcast. I'm Jimmy DeGroot. That's Kyle Bullock, and we will see you in a couple days.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at kyle@trainretail.com or jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.